Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Posttopostpod. With me, as always, is my buddy Chris Ronan. How are we doing tonight, buddy?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Friday Eve of, no, that's not Saturday currently. It's 12 past midnight, like how we've been doing lately. It's, so it's technically Saturday, but a long weekend, buddy. Long weekend. What are we going on for Memorial Day?
Nothing. I kind of thought we would have had some plans, but apparently not. So we're just working our lives away. That's really it. What about you? Anything good?
Nothing. Got a long weekend coming up. I actually have weekends off now, which is great. My schedule changed. And same thing. I was thinking of that same thing. Like, I got a bunch of people like, what are you going to do for the long weekend? I was like, I don't know. Nothing. It's weird. It's weird to think about. I feel like a lot of people, like, they have, like, these barbecues and parties and, like, they're ready to go. And nothing for me over here.
Yeah, I think I'm going to end up working a half day Monday, so.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to come over with some, like, burgers and stuff. And we'll fucking throw it
Yeah,
on the
that
grill.
sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Sunday's going to be nice. It's going to be like 85, so.
Yeah. We'll do something.
Yeah.
Go golfing, maybe. Maybe make something of this weekend.
I would if I could. If I don't have Emma, maybe. But I think I'm going to have Emma. We'll see.
Keep me posted.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
Yep. So for everyone listening in, this could be a short episode for us. We've done short episodes before, but this one definitely short. We're by the time this drops, conference finals are definitely done. I think the Vegas Golden Knights, Dallas Stars definitely pushed for another game, but I think the Vegas Golden Knights are just going to take it, and then we're going to be moving right on to the Stanley Cup Finals, and hockey news is really kind of slowing down right now. So I was talking to Chris about right before recording, and we're like, well, there's really not that much to really get into. There's a few NHL news, some stats that were like pretty cool, but for the most part, it is just what's going on in the conference finals. So I don't know. I feel like we should just kind of dive right into it and maybe give these folks a little quick recap of what happened last week and call it a night. Sounds like a good move. All right. So what's going on with the conference finals here? We're going to talk about the Florida Panthers because they have a bunch of stats, bunch of cool stuff going on. So we'll start with them. The one thing that we'll start off with this week is that the scumbaggery type of news that I'm not a fan of, that it's hitting the NHL and hit the team just in general, and I personally do not like it. So the player's personal home addresses were posted online this week, and bomb threats were made to the team. Radko Gudas was the center of it all, needing to be escorted by the police to the games to and from. Actually, to add to this, too, more scumbaggery, the Dallas Stars fans were throwing popcorn at Aiden Hill as he was getting onto the ice. This is really just like a black eye to just hockey in general. Not even to the NHL, but hockey in general. I'm like, dude, like, this doesn't belong here at all. What the fucksoever. Like, I just was not a fan of it. And, I don't know, like, what do you do? Like, if this, like, proceeds and gets worse, like, this is just another black eye that the hockey community has to deal with now.
So the doxing thing, which is, for those of you that don't know, is like leaking someone's address and information. I think in general that needs to be taken a lot more seriously by the law. I think something like that, especially when it comes to professional athletes, celebrities, all of the above, even just everyday people, I think there needs to be very harsh punishments for it, because I think people think that they can do these kind of things and like phone in a bomb threat and just get away with it. And hopefully, like, oh, they won't find me, those kind of things. But, like, it's just not right to make someone feel that unsafe in their life and their well-being, their family, all that kind of shit. Yeah. Over, at the end of the day, something that fucking has nothing to do with you. You're a fan of a sport, of the other team, and that's what you're going to do? Like, just a ridiculously dumb thing to do. I'll never understand the idea of that.
I don't understand the concept either.
When I was in college, I guess I won't say, but when I was in college, during the finals week, it was every Tuesday and Thursday for 2 weeks straight. A bomb threat was called in at 10:30 a.m. because this person's class was at 11, and they didn't want to take the final. And it took the school, obviously, 2 full weeks to figure out,
what the hell's going on?
Yeah, but like, that's something that should be a little bit easier. Like, you got to realize, like, it's got to be someone in a class at this time,
Yeah.
you know? Like, there's a complete reason for it. They ended up catching him or her. I don't remember what, but just in order to get out of taking a final exam, that's, like, what you do. Like, I don't understand how these people's brains operate. Like, you think you're going to get away with it? Like, I guess, yeah, you got away with it the first 3 times, so try again and for a 4th. Like,
Right.
that just doesn't make sense to me. It's nuts.
I'm with you on that. I like your mindset there. Where just like we're kind of at a point now in 2023 where I guess people are like way more comfortable just doing things because they know they can get away with it because there's no.
This is one of those keyboard warrior situation kind of things. Like, there's no repercussions.
Repercussions for it.
They can't catch me.
Right. And I feel like with the internet, there should be some, especially in 2023, there should be some easy way to be able to find like find like an online threat and be able to trace it back from like where it came from. I don't get why in 2023 we don't have that yet. Like I feel like if I was able to comment on like some post or whatever, I feel like now they should be able to tag the comment to like an IP address and kind of like source it back to where it came from and find the person. But
it's just crazy. Something that these players and I don't think anyone should ever have to deal with.
No, not at all. So I hope this shit just stops just in general, like right the fuck away. The Aiden Hill thing was kind of just like a mess to watch. Like it's just him coming back on the ice and just like a big like thing of popcorn just hitting him. Like that's just disrespectful right there. Like I get your team's down and out losing, but fuck, that is just like no way, shape, or form to act as a human being just in general. So hopefully this is like the last of it all. I don't think I've ever seen anything as crazy as the bomb threat, by the way. We saw the news of Radko Gudas having to be police escorted to and from like the rink, and I'm like, dude, like this is like the first time ever for hockey just in general that I've seen. So again, hopefully just like a one and done. If anything more comes of it, we'll be talking about it next week. But again, I hope we don't have to talk about it next week. But let's talk about some more stuff about the Florida Panthers here in a good light. So Matthew Tkachuk has been clutch, to say the least. He's racked up 21 points in 16 playoff games, which was 9 goals and 12 assists. 11 points were in the final 15 minutes of the third period or overtime. He's had 2 goals and 2 assists in Florida's 6 overtime. So if you need a clutch guy for the Florida Panthers in the dying minutes of a third, Matthew Tkachuk is your way to go. And damn, did he send... He is definitely the dude that sent him right into the Stanley Cup Finals because holy shit. Did you watch that game at all, by the way?
This was 3-2 overtime. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a good one.
No, not the overtime. It was they won in the dying seconds of the third.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Holy fuck, dude! Like Florida Panthers just look unbelievable. Like I already have them winning the cup. Like whoever wins, if Dallas comes back for some unknown reason and beats the Vegas Golden Knights, Florida's still gonna take it. If Vegas gonna move on to I'm all in on the Florida Panthers now at this point. All in.
I kind of still just got to back my horse because, like, I have the future bet on the Golden Knights. Nice. Found out it's paying about $320, I think, $320. But I think next round, in order to hedge my bet a little bit, I'm going to throw a little bit of money on the Florida Panthers to win the cup, which will, like, regardless, I'll be making money. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It'll cover the $20 that I paid for the future. Yeah. And the other thing I'm going to sprinkle on there, I think Bobrovsky is right now the lead guy to win the Conn Smythe, which is playoff MVP. Mm-hmm. He's at plus 200, and I think Tkachuk before last game was like plus 1,200, but like just like the clutch moments and goals, like I think that means more to a team in their playoff run than the stellar goaltending does at the end of the day because you're getting the stellar goaltending, but what's putting you over the top to make it to the next round, the next game, the next series, whatever you want to call it, is the guy who's getting those clutch goals. And I think it's just that means a lot more when it comes to a Conn Smythe playoff MVP, in my opinion. Yeah. So I think I'm going to take put a little bit of money on Matthew Tkachuk to win the Conn Smythe as well.
Nice. This is where it gets kind of weird because you need both. Again, at the end of the day, you need both to win. You need good goaltending. You need guys who's scoring. So Conn Smythe. I know.
I think I'd put Eichel too. I think I'm going to go Tkachuk and Eichel.
Eichel
on the other side. So if Vegas wins, I think Eichel will get it.
Eichel's he's been really looking good these playoffs, man. Like really, really pushing to get that Stanley Cup after coming from Buffalo. But yeah, I'm with you. I see the scoring, and I also see the goaltending. Like you could see both sides of it. Like both are right because you need both in order to be really good in the playoffs or even like push through the playoffs. But yeah, I can see both. I can see Matthew Tkachuk. I can see Sergei Bobrovsky. Fuck. It was Sportsnet. No, it wasn't Sportsnet. It was someone NHL Network or something like that. They posted something this week, and I always hate seeing it. Sergei Bobrovsky is doing unbelievable this postseason. I mean, just unbelievable, standing on his head. But during the regular season, and especially in the beginning of the playoffs, it was Alex Lyon that was getting the starting spot. And then after Alex Lyon had like a couple of rough games versus the Bruins, they threw in Bobrovsky, and here he is standing on his head. Now, he's doing stellar right now. He's doing unbelievable, but I've been seeing these posts left and right of and the title is like, is Bobrovsky like Hall of Famer like type of like goaltending? I'm like, why? I get he's doing really fucking well right now, but why are we jumping the gun right now and saying like, is he Hall of Famer for just this like random ass span of games that he's had that he's been standing on his head?
Well, they don't look at just that. Like it's kind of like a lot of these pages, I guess I'll call them, like Instagram, whatever. And sites will put out the feeler of like, is he Hall of Fame, just to see what the general fan base thinks. And you got to think about it, right? He's won the Vezina twice. He's made deep cup runs. And if he gets this one, like if he gets a cup under his belt, I think the argument can be made. I'm also one of the people that think like the Hall of Fame should be very exclusive, and I don't think you should be in there unless you've won two, I guess is the way that I would put it.
Interesting.
But there are outliers, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's goaltenders that are that good that they deserve to be in there. But
Yeah, this guy's
like,
just broken barriers.
I don't think I'd put Henrik Lundqvist in the Hall of Fame. I don't think I'd put Carey Price in the Hall of Fame. He doesn't have a cup, right?
No.
Right? Like
No.
they're that good and they're that important to the league. I think they should be in their team's Hall of Fame, but for the league Hall of Fame, I think you got to be a proven two-time winner to get in.
Right. No, yeah, I'm definitely with you. Like I like.
I think as the game goes on though, like we're not seeing a lot of teams repeat like back-to-back Stanley Cups other than Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Like Vasilevsky, no question, I think Hall of Fame. But I think as we're seeing like this team's winning the cup, that team's winning the cup, it's getting passed around a lot more. Maybe down the line it becomes less of like a did he win two, and you know, as long as you have one, you're an option. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like the Hall of Fame too. I think more so wraps around like what you've done. What you've done with the sport, what you've done with NHL, because it's not just NHL for the Hockey Hall of Fame. Like you could be a professional hockey player or be part of the professional hockey community just in general to make that spot.
Yeah, you can be in as a builder for like the GMs, the coaching roles, those kind of things.
Right,
like
you could be playing for Team Finland like your entire career and just like make an impact that gets you
because
in
it's the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Right, right. It's not specifically the NHL, but yeah, I guess you're right in a sense for the NHL just in general. Like it does, I think we're at the point now where you have to up the ante of what is acceptable to be, I guess, admitted.
It's got to be exclusive. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, Bergeron might get in. He's a guy that has only one cup, but just the stats, the numbers he's put up in the faceoff dot, a two-way player, the number of Selkies that he's won, like that trophy should almost be renamed after him. Like,
Yeah.
he might get in because of that.
Yeah.
But I'm not putting anyone else from the Bruins in the Hall of Fame from, you know, their
From there. Yeah.
I guess prime years is what I'll call it, but it's not their prime years, you know?
Yeah, right. No, I'm with you on that. But I like what you said, how like I like what we said about team Hall of Fame. So we're just like
Yeah.
that would make
every
sense.
team has their own.
Yep. Like retired numbers and stuff for like up in the Raptors too. I think Bergeron's 37 is gonna be retired.
I think so. Yeah, I do. I think Captain Material led this team, you know, created the culture that we have here. You know, took team-friendly deals, just in general, everything that he's given to this organization and the community. I think so, for
Everything.
sure.
Not even just the community, but just the Bruins just in general. Yeah, I could see
Did
that.
Chara have his number retired? Not yet, right?
I think he was Shit, kind of
putting you on the spot, but I don't know if he should either. Like, yes, he did a lot. He meant so much to this team and organization, but I just don't see it the same way that I see Bergeron for some reason. I don't think his number's retired yet. I think it's an option, but I don't think they've done it.
Yeah, it's an option, but it hasn't been fully retired. Yeah. I like. Yeah. Again, I want to go back to what you said. Like a team. There's a difference between Hockey Hall of Fame and a team Hall of Fame, and I think that's where Bobrovsky might end up.
No, because he shouldn't be
you think Hockey
Florida
Hall of
Panthers Hall of Fame because he's played what, fucking 3 years there, making $10 million and was 50-50 if he was good or bad.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
But where is he? He was Philadelphia Flyers. He was
Columbus Blue
Jackets, and now the
Florida Panthers.
So it's one of those three. If they were to do anything,
I don't think you should get into any of those
Yeah.
personally. Like, I think once you've bounced around too much, like the teams shouldn't retire your number really.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Unless they, for some reason, like
I mean, like a Yager would probably
sign you
retire
back.
his number with the Penguins. You know what I mean?
Yep, sign him for a one day contract with the
Mhm.
Penguins and say like you retired with the organization. Yeah, I could definitely see that. Speaking about the Florida Panthers and attendance, actually, now that we're talking about Montreal Canadiens here with Carey Price, good time to bring this up. So the top 10 NHL attendances for the 2023 season have been interesting to say the least. The Montreal Canadiens have the best fans in the league since they were the worst team in the league, but their attendance is number 1 out of the entire NHL. So the Montreal Canadiens averaged out at 21,078 people in attendance per game, which is insane to think about for the Bell Center and how bad the fucking Montreal Canadiens have been. That is dedication to a team right there. So big applause to the Montreal Canadiens faithful out there. Huge clap of the hands. Sorry. And then coming in second is the Carolina Hurricanes with 19,526. I'll just go through the 3 to 10 here. Tampa Bay Lightning's 3. Detroit Red Wings is 4. Toronto's 5. Vancouver Canucks, ironically, 6. Washington Capitals, 7. Minnesota Wild, 8. Boston Bruins coming in at 9. And the Dallas Stars at 10. Do any of these kind of...
The Wild fans deserve so much better, man. For them to be so dedicated to that team and just first-round exit, second-round exit every year, like... They deserve more, and I think hopefully in 5 years or so, once they're off of the Parise and Suter contracts and everything else that got like tied up their cap, they can build around Kaprizov and get something going. But I just feel bad for that state because it's one of the states of hockey in the U.S. and just the tires just keep getting stuck in the mud. That's what jumps out to me.
Yeah. I wonder if like the price. I'm looking at the Bruins here at number 9, and I've talked about how expensive it is to go to like a Bruins game. How expensive it is to like even just be there. So I wonder if like the prices of things really dictate where the NHL attendance thing is.
I think it's all supply and demand because at the end of the day, the price is the price, and the people that want to go are going to pay it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not going to drive people away in a major market. It's basically going to open up the market and say, hey, let's say, for example, let's just, I don't know, throw it out there. The tickets are averaging $200, and this fan says, I'm not paying that. Well, guess what that means? That means there's a $200 ticket waiting to be bought for someone else. So once it goes to the market, the demand is still there in these major markets like Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, Boston.
Mm-hmm.
So
interesting. Yeah.
I think it really comes down to when will people stop buying tickets, and in Montreal, it doesn't seem like that's ever going to happen if they're still paying to go to these kind of games,
Yeah, right. But not really. But I just kind of want to add to what you said. Another crazy stat for the Florida Panthers here, which I think as we've seen in the playoffs so far I feel like racked up like the ticket sales for the Florida Panthers. So a crazy stat for the NHL. The Panthers were in a playoff spot for only 28% of the regular season, which is 54 days out of 190. They are the only team in the NHL's expansion era, which is from 1967 to 1968, to reach the finals after spending less than 30% of the season in a playoff spot. I think this also would drive up ticket sales just in general. Do you remember what the ticket sales were like last year when they were like president winning trophies? They were in the playoffs, really looking well last season.
No, were they good?
I can't remember. I just remember seeing like, I honestly, the Panthers were good last year, but I can't remember.
I think the draw for the Panthers, though, like with ticket sales, it's not about home crowd ticket sales. They're one of those teams that are in a market that it's a great away game to go to because you're on vacation, you're down in Florida, you can see your home team play there while you're vacationing there. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that's what's putting, people in the stadium and filling it up.
Yeah, you got a good point. Because we talked about that. I think I sent you one of these posts, and you were just like, yeah, dude, it's like a retirement state. People don't, there's no real home fans there.
Because everyone's moving there from the upper and middle East Coast to go there to retire.
Right. Like we were watching the Bruins when it was the Bruins versus the Florida Panthers in the beginning of the playoffs there. Like you'd see like the Florida Panthers at home, and it'd be all Bruins fans just there. It's kind of wild to think.
A lot of snowbirds, but from Massachusetts. And then you saw it in the second round when they played Toronto and they limited tickets to United States residents.
And it still didn't work. It's kind of wild. That reminds me, remember the story we had of, this is during COVID when I guess we first started recording these episodes. Do you remember the story we had of the Tampa Bay Lightning fan getting kicked out of the spot they're in? Do you remember that at all?
Yeah, because he was wearing an away jersey.
Because he was wearing an away jersey. Can you imagine, like, now that we're, like, kind of, like, almost full circle here, like, kind of, like, figuring out, like, how Florida is and Tampa is with, like, trying to sell the tickets, that kind of makes more sense, like, how you're in, like, a spot as a fan, like, as an away fan, wearing, like, an away jersey, we're just like, dude, we're trying to, like, make ourselves look good, and we fucking can't,
Yeah, because, I mean, they do need to maintain their own home ice advantage because that fucking sucks if they're playing 82 games a year, 41 of them on the road, and the 41 at home. It, depends on what team you're playing, but it's fucking basically becomes an away game atmosphere if you don't have enough home fans.
Mm-hmm. But I will say, right now, totally different story. Like, if you're watching the Florida Panthers series at all, just, like, look at like, their home games. It is all Florida Panthers jerseys, getting the bums in seats, really looking good, and they're coming straight into the Stanley Cup Finals. I guarantee you, their home games are going to actually be home games.
I feel like the further a team goes in the playoffs, the more it draws other players around the league to want to go there. So, like, if I'm a player in the NHL that's not on the Panthers and I'm looking at, like, a free agent summer, I would look at that roster and say, hey, look, they went this far now, like just looking at where they are now.
Yeah.
They've come this far. There's no state tax in Florida, so my salary is what it is.
Yeah.
And I get to live in South Beach, Miami, or wherever the fuck for, half the season. And there's not really a heavy media presence.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the best team to play for, like Florida, Tampa, a playoff contending team. We can make really good money, and, $7.5 million contract in Florida is the equivalent of, call it, I don't know, a $10 million contract in, Massachusetts, right? Because there's no state tax, so they're not chunking out of your paycheck. So,
yeah,
right. There's not really a downside to it, other than the fact that there's not really a strong fan base. It's the only thing I can come up with.
Yeah, that's the only bad thing. But I don't know if you can get used to it. But I like what you said about the media, how they're kind of not down their throat. I think if you've ever played for like a team like Tampa Bay Lightning or not Tampa Bay Lightning, sorry, Toronto Maple Leafs or the Vancouver Canucks now, where just like their media is just down the throats of the players whenever they can to go to a team. Exactly what you said. Go to like a Stanley Cup contending team where just the media. It's not really there, and you're able to just like improve your game and work on your game without having to deal with the bullshit. I think that's a huge turn on for a bunch of players to be like, yeah, let me go down to there.
Something that popped into my mind too when we started talking about it. The Cup hasn't gone back to Canada in over 30 years now, so I don't know if players look at it and say, hey man, like me going there isn't going to change things enough for that to change. I don't know. That's just how I look at that. I'm like, maybe I need to stay in the U.S.
Interesting. Think Austin Matthews will look down south?
I think he's going to shop the market. He already got a fucking bag in Toronto, so I think he's going to want the same, if not more money if he hits the free agent market.
Yeah.
I don't think he gives a shit. I think, I don't think there's any nothing that's alluring about Toronto, their roster, their city, anything about it that is nice to him.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
I think he's great with a spotlight, so any other market is really open and available. I think if he goes to another Canadian team, he's gonna fucking hate playing in Toronto afterwards.
Yeah.
But I also can see this becoming like the John Tavares New York Islanders situation where he's like, the fans fucking hate him just because he left. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Like if Austin Matthews leaves the Maple Leafs, it's gonna be like when Tavares left the Islanders.
Yeah. And they're just you're right. Yep. And they're just gonna fucking just boo the shit
Yeah,
out
they're
of
gonna
Austin
burn his
Matthews
jerseys.
every time. Yeah. We'll see that again. But let's move on to the Carolina Hurricanes here. So an interesting fact as they leave the playoffs here, and in a weird fashion too, by the way, because the Carolina Hurricanes, I mean, we've saw like how good the Florida Panthers are, like as a team just in general. But you would have thought the Carolina Hurricanes would have pushed them to a Game 7, or if you've watched them during like the regular season, you'd be like, no, they're just an all-around better team than the Florida Panthers. Like you would have thought when this series started, you would have thought Florida Panthers have met their match during this series, and the Carolina Hurricanes are going to take it. But literally after the first game, I swear to God, after the first game was the Carolina Hurricanes. I know I've been calling it fail-out games, but all it took was that one game. You watch them like, dude, nope, Florida Panthers are all over the fucking Carolina Hurricanes. Like, they look unbelievable, like, just with them. And then there's another stat that came out with the Carolina Hurricanes that they are 0-12 in their past 12 conference finals games after getting swept in 3 straight conference finals. They were swept by the Penguins in 2009. They were swept by the Bruins in 2019. And then again, this year, they were swept by the Panthers. Like, what, again, like kind of like a Toronto Maple Leafs team, I guess, in this situation where there's kind of bad luck in the conference finals here. But not a good look for the Carolina Hurricanes coming in here. I guess as a fan, would you be pissed off as much as you think you'd be?
I just don't know like how the tires fall off like this. Like the 09 sweep by the Penguins, I would put that one aside and say, you know, that's a completely different team 10 years later. So we're looking at being swept by the Bruins in 2019 and now, you know, the Panthers this year, and we're looking at the same roster and saying like, how do these things happen?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's just the grind, the wear and tear of it all. By the time you get to this round, you're gassed, you're exhausted. I think that's what it is. And I think both the Bruins in 2019 and the Panthers of this year play such a hard physical game that it's hard to be as on point, fast, north-south hockey as the Carolina Hurricanes are during the regular season.
Yeah.
They have to be one of the fastest teams in the league. They have Svechnikov,
Oh my God, yeah.
Aho, like they're just flying up and down the ice. But the Panthers really clog up that neutral zone, that zone entry at the blue line. I saw an awesome play by Radko Gudas on the back check. Jordan Martinook was basically on a breakaway after blocking blue line slap shot from Gudas, and Martinook's probably one of their faster guys, and he catches up to him, and instead of like stretching out, going for the stick, going for the puck, he doesn't like stop his stride. He just continues to chug, and then he gets directly next to him. Once like the stick goes in where his stick is, but instead of playing stick or puck, he takes the body and just like drives him wide. So instead of him being able to break to the front of the net, like he has no choice but to just be shoved to the corner.
Yeah.
And it was like very surprising for Martinook. You could tell because he's getting ready to shoot, expecting like some stick, some play there. Nothing happens, and then he's just kind of getting moved. He was like not expecting it when he's like, you know, full steam ahead with no one in front of him. Like,
Right.
I think just the way that they play is what separated them here. And like Moore's speech at the end, like with the post-game presser, which is wild, he's not wrong in saying that they were in every single one of these 4 games.
No.
He did not word it well at all.
He
sounded like a goofball. He was very insane in that
It wasn't a blowout by any means. Like, they only lost by 1 goal every game of the 4 games that they lost. So he was right by saying they were there, but he
yeah, but he was wrong. Yeah, he's got a point, but he's wrong.
Yeah, something about not getting swept when you did get swept.
So I don't know. Like they seem to have made the right additions this offseason. Burns, Pacioretty, but injuries is what brought them down. Svechnikov, I believe, was coming into this round late after being injured for the first 2 rounds. Pacioretty, I think, never made it back. But it's just, there's like, you need to have every single piece clicking, and you almost have to have the next guy up mentality and have that ability with their AHL roster as well.
Mm-hmm.
The Panthers have been very lucky. Not really much injury in this postseason.
No, they've been. I think that's really been helping them.
They lucked out with Alex Lyon in the first couple games to give Bobrovsky a little bit of time to come back in the series, but
yeah.
So
unfortunate for the Carolina Hurricanes, just to begin with, dude. Man, we're pumping their tide. I mean, I feel like there was a lot of teams that exited from the playoffs that were pumping their tires. Carolina Hurricanes, Boston Bruins, Toronto Maple Leafs. It's kind of crazy to see what the NHL playoffs can do to teams like that. We're just like, oh no, you're gonna get bounced. Like,
if you're not 100% ready to go when the time comes, I don't think it's ever gonna work for you. Like, if you're missing a couple key guys, if one guy's not hot right now, if you run into the goaltending questions, like, those are all the things that, like, if any of those things happen to you, like, you're screwed. It doesn't matter if it's a first, second, third, final round, it's not going to work.
No,
something's going to go wrong and the wheels are going to fall off.
Exactly. And again, like what you said, like, it might just take one player to fucking do it, one key guy. But before we get into, I guess, the one and only NHL news that we have this week, so as it's looking right now, it's looking like, but especially by the time this drops, it's looking like the Florida Panthers versus the Vegas Golden Knights in the Stanley Cup Finals, which would be very interesting to see. Be interested to see if Adin Hill can actually stop the Florida Panthers here, or if it's going to be another fucking kill streak by the Florida Panthers.
I think the big thing for Adin Hill is how well the team is playing in front of him defensively. I think they limit, high danger scoring chances. They do let a lot of shots through. Like, I think the game that they won 4-0 over Dallas, they had 16. The Vegas Golden Knights only had 16 shots, where Dallas had like 34. So they're limiting, like, the quality of the shots, but allowing Adin Hill to feel the puck. So he's hot, he's ready, he's still, in his rhythm.
Right.
And I just think at the end of the day, it all comes down to this team is built, that Vegas team is built very well. Like, Eichel in the playoffs, he has a chip on his shoulder because he hasn't really been there with Buffalo, and he's red hot right now. Pietrangelo is playing very well defensively in front of him. Like, I just think that I've said it. I guess I would say it every round. Like, the Panthers haven't seen a team like this yet.
No.
But that's what I said about Carolina, and that's what I said about the Bruins. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I'd say that about Toronto, but
I thought Toronto's good, but it's just
but they aren't built like Vegas or Carolina or the Bruins.
Right. No, dead on. Yep. No, you're right.
But I mean, the Panthers have made short work of them. Like, what are they? 12-1, 11-1 since being down 3-1 to the Bruins.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I just the comeback, like the fire under their ass after the Bruins has just been unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a motivator for sure.
It's crazy to think. But for anyone who's listening to this, go on our YouTube channel Around the Boards, and on this episode, type in who you think is gonna win the Stanley Cup here, because I want to get some tallies here. It's either the Vegas Golden Knights or the Florida Panthers, and I'll be interested to see. Who everyone thinks it's going to be. We still got the Vegas Golden Knights jersey behind you, buddy. That ain't moving.
No, it's not moving. We're not touching that
at all. Nope.
You're going to be eating crow if the Dallas Stars can pull off a reverse sweep here.
You fucking imagine.
It's going to be bad.
If we're here next week and be like, well, we're still not at the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah.
We're in Game 7 of the
I'm hoping it's wrapped up before June 9th, because I leave for a bachelor party in Rhode Island that weekend. And my casino ticket is for Twin River for the Vegas Golden Knights future bet.
Oh, God.
So I need the Vegas Golden Knights to win before June 9th, and I can cash that ticket and have a little extra money in my pocket,
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Money's on the line, man.
Right.
Money's on the line. All right, so let's wrap this up with like the last bit of news that we have. So the Calgary Flames are actually making some headway here in this their off season, I should say. So they made some news. Craig Conroy, Dave Nonis, and Jarome Iginla, big name here, will join the Flames front office. Craig Conroy will be their new GM. Dave Nonis will be their senior management. And Jarome Iginla will join advisory/consultant role. Nonis was GM for the Canucks from 2004 to 2008 and the Maple Leafs from 2012 to 2015. Conroy accepted a management position with the Flames organization, becoming the special assistant to GM Jay Feaster on June 6, 2014. Conroy was promoted to position of assistant GM, reporting to GM Brad Trevling on May 23, 2023. And then this week, Conroy was announced as the 8th GM in Flames history following the departure of Trevling. So, front office moves here. I love Jarome Iginla's seat here in the front office. I think this dude's been a hockey legend forever, especially with the Calgary Flames here. I think when you think of Jarome Iginla, you see the Calgary Flames C on his chest. But Craig Conroy, Dave Nonis here, both technically GMs that have been around the league here. So what's your thought on bringing these guys in?
Yeah, I think it's great. They haven't really filled the head coach role, right? I'm not sure who's coming in after Daryl Sutter. They haven't announced that yet.
They haven't announced it yet, no.
So, I mean, that is really the driving factor at the end of the day. Like I say, a lot of the times, these guys are about what's down the line in the future, 3 to 5 years out.
Yep.
I always think it's a good idea to have more than one head kind of running the ship. Yes, Conroy's a GM, but if there's a guy with senior management role and an advisory/consultant role, all the decisions are going to be made as a collective, with Conroy making the final call at the end.
Right.
I picture like a Game of Thrones kind of like, got to run it by the hand and the fucking whole table and shit. You know what I mean? But I think the coach decision is going to be the most important one. I would also be okay with seeing the assistant coach or their AHL head coach be bumped up, because I'm a big proponent of having that done.
Yeah, the
I think that the names that are on the market for head coaches right now, I don't have one that stands out to me at the top of my head that just is like, that's the guy. Go get him. That's your guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of old names kicking around that are kind of chomping at the bit a little bit to get a job, but I don't know. I'm fine with new blood coming in, and let's get a new guy up. I mean, that's how Bruce Cassidy got his start. So we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Some new, like what you said, new blood. Some new guys in here to test the water and see how they do, and go from there.
And the roster actually looks pretty decent on paper. I think that they could be a fringe playoff team next year, just with a different guy cracking the whip per se, rather than the Daryl Sutter fucking threatening to run you over with his tractor.
And force you to work on his farm during the summertime if you don't get the job done.
Right. I wonder how many guys fucking dodge bullets with him getting canned. You're like, oh my God, I had fucking 80 hours to work for him this summer.
I had to shovel horse shit. I had to fucking do a bunch of shit. But yeah, that's it. We're gonna call it quits here. 40 minutes in, not that bad. But thank you again. Oh, we never said it, but thank you to Corona Premier for sponsoring the podcast. I keep meaning to say that immediately as I do my intros, but I keep kind of waiting till the end here. But it's good.
It is good.
Yeah.
Low cal, low carb. Give it a shot. It's delicious. Shout out to producer Billy. He's not really a beer drinker. Gave him one of these bad boys. He's all about him now. He was drinking them on draft down at the bar down the street last week before we recorded.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Kind of funny to see.
Just like me, I'm not a beer guy at all. I've been saying this. I've been saying this since we got sponsored with the Corona Premier.
They're easy, man. They go down smooth.
Yeah, go down
like
nice
water.
and smooth. Not bad. Not bad. But anything you want to say before we call it out?
Happy Memorial Day. Thanks to all the veterans who served. I feel like it's one of those holidays that kind of doesn't really get the veteran appreciation like all the other ones do. 4th of July, Veterans Day, obviously. So
100%.
Thank you for all the living and deceased
Yes.
veterans of the armed forces.
Perfect.
Both sides. No,
Both
I'm just kidding. The Office quote. All right. We got some Rumpelmans nip to do.
Yeah. Swing of both sides.
Enjoyable.
You don't like these?
Why would I?
These are just like... Oh.
I feel like it's a cross between like Jaeger and McGillicuddy's. Like, it's not as good as McGillicuddy's, and it's kind of got a different taste, like a Jaeger does.
I have been drinking Corona Pumas too, so this might be a different taste.
Cheers, pal.
Cheers. Oh.
You good?
Oh, all right.
That's 100 proof, buddy.
Oh, man. I'm the one who... Oh.
I think the McGillicuddies are only 60 proof. 30% ABV.
I'm the one who bought these, too. I didn't realize they were 100 proof.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was, like, laughing at you coughing at first, but then, like, I got the flare up through the nose. Did you get that here?
Yeah.
Like, it like came out your nose. I was like, ooh.
Ooh,
I had to cough a bit, too.
Ooh. Well, we should probably call it up. We got a long weekend coming up. We might be playing golf. We might be cooking burgers Monday afternoon with you and the wife.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
and Emma.
We'll see.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, I gotta find out what my schedule's looking like. But if I got no baby, I can make some stuff happen.
No, easy. That is. All I have to do is go to the fucking Stop and Shop, grab some meat, some burgers, and just force this piece of shit to start cooking for me.
Yeah, dude.
Hey,
You know what?
Hey.
You know what? Little project tomorrow. I gotta mow the lawn while Emma's napping, and if she stays down long enough, I'll clean the grill. It'll be nice, fucking. I don't know the phrase I'm looking for. Spotless, I guess. Brand new, clean,
Spotless.
grill.
I like that one.
I don't know what I was thinking of, but
It's all right.
it'll look brand new,
We'll
fresh
get
out of the box.
If we get there, I'll post images. I'll post some photos on Instagram to see how.
Maybe we could do the 999 challenge. Throw on the ball game.
Oh fuck!
Just grab some dogs. 18-pack of dogs, kid.
I'll bring my camera. Maybe we could do 99 on camera. Throw it up on around
God.
the boards.
You don't want to see that.
I'll
It's
edit
disgusting.
that. Just fucking throw it up in your backyard. Like, "Buh." Make it to like fucking the 6th inning, 7th inning stretch. Actually, like does you in. Like start stretching. You're like, oh, here we go.
Luna's like, oh, who made chowder back here? Fucking animals.
Oh man. All right. Well, with that said, let's call it out.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. If there's anything you want to see us cover next episode, let us know. Our links are in the description, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye, guys. Happy Memorial Day.
Happy Memorial Day.